Hey guys, this is Param from Think Higher Education and Migration Consultants. So today we have a consultant over here, Mrs. Sonia. She's going to explain about PT. We will be discussing some important updates about the PT exam. So let's start.
Sure.
Okay, the first question that students generally ask is, while booking exam, what are the things that they have to keep in mind?
Okay. So first and the foremost thing that you have to keep in mind is that your information, whatever the information that you are giving to a PT center or to a PT person has to be correct. So for example, if your name is whatever the name that has been shown in your passport, your name should matches your the PT confirmation or the PT registration form when you are just filling that, right? Sometimes you don't have your surname in your passport, so that is again very important that you should not be putting any surname in your PT registration form as well, right? Otherwise it will be difficult for a PT center to recognize that okay, if this is the right person who is giving the test or not. So these are the information thing basically is very important that when you are when you are uh, registering yourself for a PT test is something that should be correct. Correct.
Right,
Yes.
right. And even if they have entered wrong details, they might fill the exam, but
Yeah.
on the day of the exam, they will be notified by the examiner that your name do not match, and
Yeah.
then they will
They
not
will
allow.
be having, of course, that situation would be even at that moment of time, student will be panicking, and then there will be a chaos, and there might be chances that a person will not be able to give the test on time. And if there is an urgency or something, then of course it would be another, state of emergency or that can create. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Very true. And the next question is about the exam center. So, what basically they have to check when they are going in that particular exam center?
Sure. So first of all, the distance matters a lot, Param, because when they are just going to the, center, it should be first of all, please try to book near to your place, wherever that you are living, so that your travel or the distance should get reduced by, having something near to your place. And then, of course, you just need to check the traffic and stuff, by the satellite and stuff. But at the same time, I would suggest that please go and check and at least reach 30 minutes prior
Prior
to
to.
the test, right?
Yes.
Don't do something that okay, I'll be reaching 10 minutes early or 5 minutes early or just on point. It will not work. You might be able to miss your test as well then. So please don't do that. Please try to reach on time.
Right.
Yeah.
And the next thing is about let's have a look on the mask that these days because of COVID,
Yeah.
and sometimes they might have to wear the mask.
Yes. So that's again a very good question, Param, that regarding the mask. So mask, of course, it is very important, everywhere, but there are few centers who are allowing you to give your test without mask as well. So it's not necessary everywhere. Please, whenever you are booking your test, please check with them. You can call them and check them that whether the mask is necessary or not. Sometimes they can just give you the instruction on spot as well that you have to wear a mask and you have to give your speaking with the mask on, which is again a very difficult task, because then it can give you some reductions in your speaking because your pronunciation is not clear at that point. And then if you are not comfortable with the mask and speaking, then maybe your fluency gets interrupted too. So whenever this situation comes in, please be prepared for that, right? There can be some urgencies that 2 hours before your test, government announces that okay, now mask is compulsory everywhere. Then what you gonna do? So please practice at home with the mask as well, because the situation and the world has changed a lot. So whenever that emergency or that urgency thing comes in, you have to be prepared and you should be prepared for that.
Right.
Yes.
So let's now discuss about the PT modules and how they are organized in sequence.
Sure.
So what
So
will be the
let's start, of course, with there are 4 modules as we have spoken last time as well. So one is speaking, then writing comes in, and then reading, and then listening, right? So in speaking, you get your different tasks. So the first task that you get is read aloud, which gives you marks in your speaking as well as in your reading too. Then you get your repeat sentences. In repeat sentences, you will be given some sentences which you need to repeat on spot, right? There are a lot of chances that you get the repeated questions as well in your PT exam as well. So in repeat sentences, you get marks in your speaking as well as in your listening too, because at the same time you are listening and then you are repeating, that means that you are speaking as well, right? After that, you get your marks in your describe image. Describe image is, of course, that you get your image and then you have to describe it. So the glad part is that in describe image, you only get your marks in, speaking, not nothing like nowhere else. Yeah, nowhere else. Then you get your marks in your retail lecture. Retail lecture is something that you will be listening a lecture and then you will be describing that lecture in your own words, right? So in that way that you will be getting your marks in speaking as well as in your listening too. When it comes to again answer short question, again you will be given 10 questions and then you around 10 questions, yes, and then you listen and then you give an answer. So for example, you will be getting your marks in your listening and then again your speaking as well. So all these questions usually actually we will be discussing that question later on as well, that what are the important questions. But I really want to add one thing in here. In speaking, all questions are very, very important. It's not something that there are few questions which are highly scored and there are few questions there which are not so important ones. It's not like that. Speaking is the most important ones. I usually tell my students that I can accept 89 out of 90 maybe in writing or reading somewhere, but not in speaking, because speaking is something that I personally don't allow them to get any one mark less out of 90, right? So 90 out of 90 is very much possible and it should be actually 90 out of 90 in that way, right? When you talk about
speaking, like, do we have anything else apart from these 5 questions in speaking? When we start the test, like something.
Okay, so there is a very again important one. This is a very good question actually. Usually people don't know about this question. That what else that we do have? We do have our self introduction, right? So even before we start this actual test, they actually ask us to introduce yourself, right? To be honest, Param, I was not told this question, and I was actually panicking at that moment of time when I was giving my test. That okay, what is that actually? They give you to introduce yourself. Why? Because they want you to get yourself comfortable with the mic system, with the workstation, how you are speaking, your speed, your volume and everything else, so that you can start having that flow. And as soon as you just introduce yourself, I really want to add one point here, that this self introduction is not marked. Okay, so you will not be marked on that self introduction, and I think that is the main reason, of course, that most of the academies don't tell you that okay, this is the question. But what if that you don't know, and then you get panicked that okay, maybe if I am getting marks for this one, or if I'm getting scores for this one, and what if not told me exactly, and it was not told in the class itself. So how should I react? And actually I was very reactive at that moment of time, and I was actually panicking. But yeah,
so they can self-prepare in advance.
Exactly, it's nothing that you need to just write a big paragraphs and all, but it's just something that you just need to introduce yourself. What's your name, where do you live, and why you are here, and all these sort of 4 or 5 liners should be fine. It's something to make you comfortable. So if you are comfortable, that means the purpose has been served already, right? So yeah, so when you come in whole speaking section, that is the first thing. And even before that, I really want to, sorry, I'm taking a bit longer.
No, that's totally fine, because it is the most valuable information that you're sharing with
yes. See, one more thing that I want to tell you here, that when you are starting your test, right, they will be giving you a notebook and the pen, right, to of course to take some notes and to just make yourself comfortable with the pen and paper and stuff. So please try to check your pointer that you will be getting there, and the papers will not be like normal papers, right? They will not be that would not be a normal notebook. What you will be getting is the pointers which are where you will be pressing too much, they will not end up writing, Param. So that this is very important, that you have to just try before you will be actually writing for your actual exam, right? You have to practice it first. Second thing is that you don't need to press too much. Okay, write it with a very light hand. If your pointers are not working, please raise your hand there, right? It's not something that, okay, maybe I just work out something, it's okay, I should not be questioning this sort of things. You have to question, because you have paid a good amount of money to PTE, and then it is your right to ask for a correct pen or correct notebook, and it's very important, basically, right? Second thing that you get is, you will be getting a mic, and a headphone, right? So you have to speak. There will be a screen on your on your desktop, that where you will be allowed to record your voice, and then you will be allowed to listen it back. When you are listening it back, that means that you will be able to listen that whether your voice is correctly recorded or not. And if you are not happy, please do not proceed further. I have seen some students, they were like that, okay, my speaking question is not so good, only because that my mic was not working, and I asked them to please change it, but they were not so helpful in that PT center, and then I just kept going. Please don't do like this. You don't need to proceed until or unless you are very much satisfied with your equipment that has been given to you, right? If you, like, for example, if you have a very loud voice and a clear voice, the volume can also vary as well. You can also vary your volume part too. So if, for example, if you are varying your if you have a very loud voice and a clear voice, you can keep it like up to 80 volume, right? And if your voice is very slow and very lightweighted voice, you can make it up to 100 as well, right? You have to record it and listen it back. If you are not happy, please just play around there, rather than you just proceed further, and in that panic moment you really want to start your test, and you really want to have that feeling of giving a test. Please don't get in rush, don't hurry about anything. It's something that please calm down and take your time, and then only start. Okay, this is a very important thing. Yeah. So these are the things that I really wanted to tell you.
Thank you, Sonia. This is very good information, and also the equipment that you mentioned, that it will not be a normal pen. So what pens they actually give?
So it will be actually the pointers. You know how we use huge pointers.
So the tap on it is very important.
Very important. Otherwise, it gets dry as well, right? So whenever that you have finished writing it up, please cover it up so that it does not get dry. It's a normal pointer. It's not a ball pens that you will be getting. You will be getting a pointers there, right? And you will be having a plastic laminated papers booklet that you will be getting in your exam, in regards to note down your.
So they can erase it with the help of wipes, or they can ask another booklet.
Another booklet, yes, of course. If you have finished your booklet, which is not a very common thing that you usually do in your exam. It's not that much notes that you have to write in any ways. Like, it's just a few repeat sentences and read a lecture and stuff like that, and SSPs and all. It's not too much that you need to do, but still, if you are running out of your pages in your notebook, it's okay. You can always raise your hand and then ask for that. If they are not listening to you, please go create a scene there, stand there, but please do not proceed further. That is something that I always suggest to my students and the clients.
Yeah, this is a very good thing, because I get to know that some of the students get panic if suddenly their system stop working. They need to raise hand and make sure they complain it over there that day. Otherwise,
exactly. Even if at the end of the test you feel that okay, something was not correct, or you were not happy with the invigilator or the management there or the PT center, you have to stay there and then and there only, and then you have to make a call to their call center or to their complaint department or somewhere where you can at least tell them that okay, this is what actually happened. Because of course invigilator is not gonna call them, right? And if you will be calling then and there only, you might get your refund, or you might get some scores adjusted or something. They will be serving you. They will be making sure that you are not get any disadvantage by any of their equipments or any of their management and stuff.
Right. So now coming to the next module, after speaking, which module do we have?
Okay, so we do have our writing section. In there, you only get two tasks, but the tasks that you get, that is summarized written text, and then you get your write essay. So you usually get 2 to 3 summarized written text, and write essay. You sometimes get one essay or two essays as well. So these days they are saying that we are giving two essays, but like many of our students already getting one essay at this moment of time. So it depends. It varies on the questions and the numbers, all these things. Yeah. Yeah.
So now let's have a quick break, and in the meantime we'll catch up.
Think Higher Consultants offer the best PTE online training. Think Higher is the only PTE online training institute in Pakistan. We are #1 PTE online training institute, 5-star ratings and positive reviews, Australian-based qualified PTE and NADI teachers. Our students are achieving 80 and 86 score in PTE.
Contact Think Higher at pteclasses@thinkhigher.com.au.
So welcome back. Let's continue with our next module. After writing, we have.
Okay, so we have reading module. Okay, so in reading module, there is a multiple choice single answers where you only have to select a one answer, and then we do have our multiple choice multiple answers where you can select 2 or more than 2 answers as well. Then we do have our reorder paragraphs where you have to just give a sequence to the sentences. It can be a storytelling, or it can be a from history to from past to present or something like that. They are discussing some sort of things, some sort of topics there, and then you have to give them a sequence in the correct formation, right? And then we do have our reading fill in the blanks where you need to drag your questions to the correct blank, and then you have drag and drop, you can say, or reading and writing fill in the blanks where you will be getting drop downs, options in your drop downs, and you have to select one option for your for the given blank basically. So when I was saying basically that there are some very important questions, and then there are not so important questions. So when we are saying that there are not so important questions, that means that we are talking about multiple choice single and multiple choice multiple answers in reading fill in the blanks, right? In reading module. So when we are saying that in reading module, multiple choice single and multiple choice multiple answers are not so important, guys. Please do not waste your time in there. What you need to do is you need to just click anything. If you are not sure about answers, don't waste too much time. Just click and then go next, click and go next, rather than we are just waiting a lot of, or we are just working so hard in finding a correct answer, because in here it's not something that okay, you will be able to do your the important ones first, and then you can just keep
So
it.
there is no back button.
Back button, of course, there is no back button basically, so you cannot go back, and you can not go for forward to make sure that you are doing your important ones first, and then you can just do the less important ones afterwards, right? So it's not that
So well,
like that.
thank you, Sonia. That was a perfect example of importance of time management that you have taught.
Yeah.
So it is important, guys. So make sure you do not waste your time in the least important question. So the next question that I have is generally especially the students have doubts in their mind for the new scoring system that we have introduced, PT has introduced.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say about the new scoring system?
See, I only want to say right now is, Karam, that my immigration has not accepted that, right? So you guys don't need to worry about that. If immigration has not accepted that, and I believe that most of them, they are actually aiming to get marks in the their points towards their migration, right? So if they are not affected by immigration, I think you guys should not be worried about that. Yeah.
Good. So that's good. And let's continue with the next question that we have.
Okay, so the next thing that we have is listening section. So when we are saying listening section, there is a summarized spoken text that comes very in a very first uh, in a very first task that you get in your listening section. So the summarized spoken text is something that you will be like, it's very clear from there, from the words
Words, right.
itself, right? The
You have to
title is
speak.
summarized spoken text is like something that you will be summarizing whatever they have spoken, right?
Yes.
So you have to actually write down the summary of whatever that you have listened, right? So then it's a very easy task. You will be given a template, or you will be given some tips and strategies to write that summary as well. So that is something that you should not be worried about. But yes, of course, there are certain rules, like 50 to 70 words, and then you have to make sure that you are how to add the appropriate keywords in
Mhm.
there, and those sort of things that you need to learn, of course, in the class. But and then you have to get the feedbacks as well. But of
Mhm.
course, this is the summarized spoken text, something that I have already explained. Then of course you get a lot of questions, like fill in the blanks. That is again a very important one. I will be only emphasizing on the fill in the, like the important
Important
ones
questions.
in the listening, because there are a lot of questions that, or the task that comes in your listening module. But the important one, the very very important one, is the fill in the blanks as well.
Mm.
Please make sure that do not make mistake. If you are not sure about the blank, please do not write it. For example, if you have got a blank that is ability, right?
Mm.
So, and if you feel like that maybe it was ability or abilities, please do not go with any of the word. Just keep that blank empty. Do not write anything, rather than you just write it and then you get high deductions, because when
Mm.
you are writing a wrong spelling in your fill in the blanks, you will be getting high deductions in your writing module as well. So
Mm.
please do not make such mistakes. Usually people come and say that, okay, ma'am, I have done my summarized written text so well, I have done my right essay so well,
Mm.
why I am not having good marks in my writing?
Mm.
Then I just have to tell them that maybe it can be because of your reading and writing fill in the blanks in reading module, or maybe your writing section, sorry, fill in the blanks in your listening section, right? So these are the very small things that you feel that, okay, these are very small things, or maybe the spellings are so easy, but usually it's not the case. You
Mm.
feel that spellings are easy, or maybe you feel that, okay, you have heard the right thing, but most of the time it's not the case. When you
Mm.
are having a low marks, that means that you have done something wrong in your exam, and that is why your marks are low, right?
Yes. Yes.
um Sometimes when we are typing, we do a lot of typo
Mm.
mistakes, and usually people are like, okay, if I'm getting 20 minutes to write a essay, I have to spend those 20 minutes and just keep typing it. Please
Mm.
do not do that. You have to make sure that you are typing it for 17 minutes, and
Mm.
then you are rechecking it
Checking it
for
for
the
two.
2 to 3 minutes, good
Mm.
2 to 3 minutes, right? You have to just go with the reverse pattern as well, and then you can go from the forward pattern as well. It is something that we really need to work on,
Yes.
right?
That's a good thing that I just had one more question on essay writing.
Yeah,
Students say that 20 minutes are not enough.
yeah.
So how they can pre-plan their timings because they have to think about the topic also.
Topic also.
So what can be done in like they can save their time in when they are thinking or planning the essay.
Yeah. See, first thing first is that I believe that when we are practicing at home, or when we are practicing at class, we are not bounding ourselves in a time frame, right?
Mm.
What we are doing is, okay, if I'm just taking myself, taking it for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, usually teachers don't,
Mm.
notify this thing, and neither students have that idea that, okay, this task also have a time frame limit as well. It's not something that, okay, if your template is good, you know how to use your topic sentences and all. That is not enough, guys. You might can get run out of time as well, and that is the biggest blunder that any student can do, and most of the students usually do this. So
Mm.
we really need to, when we actually do test in our classes as well, when we just take test in the class from our students, we give them a time
Mm.
frame that, okay, this is the time that only you have to,
Mm.
whatever that you have written, just submit it to us. When
Mm.
they are submitting it to us, if they have For example, if they have finished 75% of their essay, next time they are given a target of like around 90-95%, and then next time they have given a target for 100% as well, and then next time we are giving them a target of like, you have to write it down and then you have to check it as well. So that is the target that we really need to work on, right? So these are the very important things. Usually students forget about these tiny things, but when you are taking classes from qualified teachers or the actual trainers, that is where that you, of course, the difference that you can see. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Sonia, for explaining and clearing all the doubts and the questions. It was a wonderful session, and
one more thing that I just wanted to tell you in this. Sorry, I'm just cutting you
no,
off.
totally fine.
So in the after the fill in the blanks, of course, there is another task that is highlight incorrect words, right? That has the negative marking as well, as we do have in our multiple choice, multiple answers as well, right? So there are actually a couple of tasks that you get the negative marking in your exams too. So please make sure, if you are not sure about the word which is incorrect or correct, please do not highlight it, right? Otherwise you will not be, you will be actually, you will be having negative marking as well. Okay, so to just protect yourself from those negative marking, that is again very, very important, that please do not do such thing which is not good for your actually marks, right? Last but not the least, write from dictation. The king of PT, the king of PT, when I say that, means that you are getting like around 40-45% of your marks in your from your write from dictation, and which comes at the very end of your test, right? When it comes very end of your test, you are already drained, you are already so much tired, you are already you already had a few panic attacks in between of your tests. I don't want to scare you guys.
Just want to get out from the seat.
Exactly. And then, when you are getting that, that is again, it is very important that you just, save your energy. How you can save your energy? First thing first is that you should take 10 minutes of break, which you are getting after your reading section. So if you are getting your 10 minutes break after your reading section, please take 10 minutes of break. Go have some water, because you will not be allowed to have your own water bottle within your PT, test class where you will be sitting and giving your test. So please go outside, have some walk, freshen up yourself, come back, have, sit on your seat and then start giving your test. So this is how you can relax somehow. And because listening section is not too hectic, you don't need to write too many things, you don't need to type too much, so it's okay, it's very easy going, until unless when it comes to, of course, write from dictation, then you have to save a lot of your energy. You usually get 3 to 4 write from dictation in your exam, which you say that okay, it's just a 3 or 4 3 to 4 write from dictation, but usually people make, of course, or get highest deductions in these questions itself, right? So because every word contains 1 mark. So for example, if you are having 10 minutes of your 10 words in one write from dictation, that means you are having it contains 10 marks, overall. So then again, it is very, very important that you do not miss any of these. The good part in write from dictation is that you get so many repeated questions as well. So highly likely chances that you get repeated ones too. But of course, please make yourself strong enough that even the questions does not get repeated, you are able to listen it carefully and you are able to give a proper shot for that, right? If you are for example, actually there was one question, Param, last time that one of the person asked me that okay, when I was writing my third write from dictation, my time got finished, because of course, as we discussed, that time management is very important. My time got finished, and the the screen says that okay, your time is finished, right? Or maybe it's a timeout or something, so your test has been end. Now now he was actually panicking at that moment of time that okay, now what should I do? My last sentence has been recorded or not? So your actually question has been, or your answer has been recorded, but you haven't checked it, right? So then again there is a point of concern that okay, what will happen or what has happened there. But yeah, this is something that usually happens as well. So please don't panic, but please save enough time for yourself to get all those 3 to 4 right from dictations right, because this matters a lot, right? Sometimes some people just spend way more than time on the questions which are not so important ones. They just say that okay, let me correct everything, like right, let me just work on every single question, maybe I can, usually students get greedy,
Want to do hard work. They don't want to do
exactly,
smart work.
exactly. So please focus on smart work rather than hard work. Don't make yourself or don't stress yourself in something that that you are giving a lot of time on the tasks which are not so important. But please give yourself more, make yourself work hard on the questions which are very very important in the exam. So yeah, I think that's pretty much
That's a wonderful explanation. So, guys, it's very important. Listening skills cannot be improved in one day. So, practice, practice, and make sure you take the advice of experts and come to the classes regularly. Thank you so much for watching this session. It was a wonderful session. Thank you again, Sonia.
no worries.
So, okay, guys, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.